Marvel Studios has reportedly been shut down for the foreseeable future amidst the coronavirus pandemic. That is a headline on this Tuesday's MBE Heroes.
Yes, John, that is the headline on this Tuesday's Heroes, of course. Big news coming out from Marvel Studios that reportedly they are shutting down for the foreseeable future. Now, the impact this is going to have, John, on productions like Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, etc. Loki, television series, as we know. The Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision are obviously going to come into this as well. So it's not just cinematically. Obviously, Disney Plus releases are going to have, a bit of a delay on them now. Don't know how this changes your mind on subscribing to Disney Plus in the foreseeable future if you're not going to be getting these anytime soon, John. But
I'm still
also, listen, there is a little bit of good news possibly that Disney are considering releasing the New Mutants and Black Widow on digital Disney Plus. So there's a bit of good news
Black
in there,
Widow?
but
Wow.
I would say, yeah, I think just because of the timing of the release, John, I think they are considering it now. So it's going to be one of the big movies of the year for the MCU and obviously Disney. Having it on Disney Plus seems to be the most viable option at this current stage anyway.
Yes.
Obviously we were talking yesterday in regards to other films, June releases and stuff like that, but this film is obviously going to be coming out very shortly. So what's your take on this anyway, John? Obviously it's going to have, if this report is true, it's going to have a big impact not just on the cinema or the cinematic universe of Marvel, but obviously the stuff that's going to be on TV as well on Disney Plus.
Yeah, Steve, it's incredibly disappointing. That's the first thing I would say. But again, the correct decision, because ultimately during this fiasco, this pandemic, which is just ravaging every country in the world pretty much, the first thing that should come to mind, the first and most important thing, is the health and safety of also the crew members of the cast, everyone involved in the production. You can't have this raging around the world, countries being shut down, lockdown, whatever you want to call it. I think that LA's just been quarantined for 3 weeks or something, or a month. You can't have that and then still have people working on productions for movies and on TV shows. Although I say that, they have said in this article that there is still some production work going on for Shang-Chi and The Legend of the Ten Rings, so don't know how that's happening.
Yeah.
But apparently even then, that February 2021 release date is looking in jeopardy at the moment. I can't say that word. Jeopardy, John. So yeah, it's disappointing, but obviously the health and safety of everyone involved has to be the first thing at the forefront of Disney's mind. It is disappointing for us though, because we are just about to get Disney Plus. Well, it'll be out as this releases, but we are two days behind.
Yeah.
It's out today,
and
I'll probably be watching stuff on it, but not any Star Wars rated things, because I don't think half of them are on just now.
I think they're all on, John.
Are they all on now? I thought
the Rise of Skywalker is the only one that isn't, because obviously they want to try and sell that.
And then I think there's half the MCU stuff missing, and we're only getting 3 episodes of The Mandalorian, so despite that, I'll still take it. I'll still be subscribed to it as this releases. But it's disappointing that we are now going to be facing a delay to Falcon and the Winter Soldier and WandaVision and whatnot, which was supposed to be coming out this year. Goddamn coronavirus pandemic, you're shitting on my parade. You're not pissing on it, you're shitting on it. Get your act together here, go away so I can watch some goddamn Sam and the Winter Soldier. Goodness, please.
It does kind of think me up the question, John, that with Phase 4 and the whole scheduling of Phase 4 is going to be up in the air now as well, because they are not going to know how long, no one knows how long this is going to be affecting the world, and we don't know, we just don't know where we stand with any of these films now, just because of this. It's going to have a knock-on effect, you're right. Shang-Chi is not, so it wasn't supposed to be coming out to February next year anyway. We don't know when it's going to come out now. I'd be guessing to say, maybe April, May 2021, but we just don't know, because, and I don't mean that the coronavirus is going to be around, at that point, but
the production,
it's going to have once the first sort of wave of films that were due to be released are having a delay, it's going to have a knock-on effect for everything. So it's very interesting. It's a very unique time we're living in.
It really is,
Yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed, but you're right, John. Obviously, first and foremost, the health and safety of the production people on these, TV and films is more important than, serving our needs.
Yeah.
So, I was surprised when I read that as well, that they are still got a few things they have to do on Shang-Chi, or they've got a few things they're doing this month before they close down, but it could be that there's very minimum involvement from staff. It could be some it could be some editing or something like that.
You have to recall as well, Stephen, that the actual pandemic in China is starting to dip.
Yeah.
They're saying they're beyond their peak. The rest of China, I think, is starting to operate as normal. I think Wuhan and Hubei province, they're still slightly under lockdown. They're starting to slowly release things there.
Yeah.
Could be that Shang-Chi is over in China, perhaps doing some things. I don't know where this movie started. I presume it starts in China and then he comes over to the Western world, the US, and then obviously we spoke about this, he's like a man out of time. We're comparing him morally to a sort of a Steve Rogers character, where he's slightly off kilter to the rest of the Avengers and whatnot, and he has to adjust. So I presume that is maybe taking place in China. Maybe it's been filmed in a part of China. I don't know what's going on in China, I've got to be honest with you. I've been that caught up in what's happening in Italy, Spain, France, here, the United States, that I've kind of put China to the back burner, which is shocking. But it could be that that's why production is still going on. Maybe it's in a part of China which is maybe starting to kick back into action. I'm not surprised, Stephen, that Black Widow is potentially getting released on digital. I'm in a way, because it's a big release. It will have had a $150 to $200 million budget, but if there was any of the upcoming Phase 4 movies that were going to be getting put on a streaming service, then it would be Black Widow. It's not any real part to play in the future events of the MCU.
It's still a new movie though, John, and like we were talking yesterday in regards to the iTunes releases for new movies, they are going to have a rental period. I don't know if they'll do that, if they can do that on the Disney Plus platform.
No.
Unless it's possibly like a redeemable code you might get. I don't know how they'll play that, or whether or not they'll just release the whole film to current subscribers. I don't know.
That
it
seems
will obviously bring in a lot more subscribers who want to see the film. And I don't know that what the terms and conditions of your subscription is. Is it a 30-day cancelling period? I would imagine it'd have to be, because you get people dropping in and out just to see certain films, and your subscribe numbers would be up and down all the time. So,
there was talk that's why they did the weekly episodic style of consuming for The Mandalorian. It was to keep people in, watching and subscribed longer. But look, I ain't going to give up. I'm about to buy the year-long pre-order tomorrow, not the morning. That's a Scottish way of saying it. So I'm in for a year anyway. So look, it'll be what it'll be. It's unfortunate, but if we get the New Mutants and by some stroke of luck Black Widow on Disney Plus, then Jesus Christ, that's a win-win for us.
Well, and you've got your money back right away in 2 films, John.
Exactly,
so.
And we'll get Falcon and Winter Soldier and WandaVision and Loki when they come.
Yeah.
And obviously the Cassian Andor thing in about 3 years when this is all blown over. Because they keep rewriting. And Obi-Wan, will we ever see it? Will Kathleen Kennedy bugger off? Yes, even during a pandemic, I still find a way to get a dig in to Kathleen Kennedy. I just can't help myself.
Yeah.
But look, Stephen, unfortunate, but they're doing the right thing.
Listen, it's not just the MCU, this is affecting, obviously it's affecting DC as well, and Warner Brothers. And another bit of bad news, certainly for Ezra Miller, John, the Flash movie delayed because of the coronavirus. Now, I'm not laughing at that, obviously. It's obviously a serious subject, but listen, this guy in this film, this project and that character have had the worst luck since Gambit. Really, and the mutants as well. So, this film, I didn't know this. I don't know if we mentioned this, John. Maybe we didn't. I just can't remember. But this film was supposed to start production at the end of April and the beginning of May. I can't remember talking about that.
I think we did.
Possibly. I just all the news that was going on around about that time. I just can't remember. But basically, I think it's I don't know if it's a stunt coordinator actually. Eunice Huthert has confirmed that the next project was supposed to be The Flash, but they don't know.
Stunt coordinator confirmed the movie's delayed.
You're getting sacked.
What's going on, man? Warner Brothers, get your shit together.
Listen, they said that the project that was due to start was The Flash, John, but they're not sure what is happening now with that. So what's your take on this? Obviously, Ezra Miller, he must be thinking he's cursed, you know. He was, I think it was maybe this time last year that we were kind of laughing and joking that he was pushing for, you know, the film to be brought forward just so he could appear in it because of his contract was nearly up, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was June, he was had to get it written. The script wrote.
Yeah.
I've combined two different words here.
Yeah.
He had to get the script wrote for June last year so he could then portray the character going forward. His contract was up. He was in a bit of a tussle with, I think, the directors in the studio. They wanted to do a lighter tone thing like what we'd seen in Shazam and perhaps even Aquaman. He wanted to do something different, a darker telling of the character. I think with the subsequent success of Shazam doing his thing and then Joker doing his thing darker, I think that maybe one thing's maybe they've seen the way that I'm saying the success of Joker, that was way before June or way after June. This was way before Joker's success, but I think they realised that they had something special and that gave them more creative freedom to allow him to do his own thing. Perhaps the script's just good as well, I don't know, I've not read it. But look, it's a shame. What was my takes on it? First and foremost, I can't believe someone had the temerity to call their son or daughter Eunice Hoofer. Eunice? What sort of name is that, man? Hoofer?
It's a very old-fashioned name.
It's bizarre. That's like Ethel. What is going on there? You don't call people that these days. That's an 18th century name.
And the fact it's a stunt coordinator would suggest they're not that old.
Yeah, a stunt coordinator's breaking this sort of news as well. It's very, very strange. It's all strange.
Yeah.
Stephen, you're right though, it's very unlucky for this movie. It's had a turbulent path to production, but again, you have to play the cautious card. You have to do the right thing. Keep people safe in the midst of this whole pandemic nonsense.
Yeah.
Then when it all blows over, hopefully, and everyone's back and ready to go, then we can get good old Ezra in to do his role as, what's his name again? The actual character's name? I know it's the Flash, but what's the actual guy's name?
Barry Allen.
Barry Allen, that's the one. He
I'll
can come
save
back.
you there, John. I nearly forgot myself, but because
he's a great actor,
and I don't want to see him just
actor.
doing cameos in the TV series as a crossover thing. You know, I think that was a nice little trick. You know, it was a nice little sort of Easter egg, if you like. But he's too good for that. You know, to be making cameos. I don't mean appearing in television series. You know, that I actually enjoy the television series. I think it's very good for what it is. But I do want to see this character appearing on the big screen.
He's been a bit of a joke as well, Steve.
Yeah.
He's been a figure of fun. He's been played for laughs in the Justice League and whatnot. And
I think it's just because he's the youngest, you know. I think
he's a better actor than that, though. The guy's amazing.
Yeah.
It's just total chameleon. What he does with Credence Barebones.
It was one of the bits I did enjoy in the Justice League was obviously the Superman and Flash confrontation.
That was incredible.
It was so funny. That
scene was the best thing.
It was so funny, and obviously Henry Cavill's look on his face as well, just looking at him as if,
I can see you, bitch.
You know, what are you doing? Yeah. But it was, listen,
I'm a son of Jor-El.
I am sure we are going to get more information about this project over the next few months, whether or not it will be closed down for good. Hopefully not. I hope, you know, for Ezra Miller's sake, you know, I think he's a very likeable guy. He seems ideal for that role as well. From when we've only seen him very briefly, you know, and obviously the Dawn of Justice and the Justice League, I don't think we've had enough of him. I think he needs his own film. And hopefully he does get it. But listen, we'll move on to our final topic, John. It's Black Widow movie image reveals new Taskmaster costume details. Now, there's a few pictures up there on Screen Rant, one with a kind of crossbow, some futuristic crossbow.
Yeah, that was the one we seen in the trailer, that everyone was getting their knickers in a twist about, saying that's not Taskmaster. No. That's not what he looks like at all. That's a joke. Yeah. What are they doing?
Well, listen, it looks like
Barton?
It looks like it's definitely not. I think he's left-handed, is he or not? I can't remember.
He is.
And there's also the one, you know, it's a more of a portrait shot, sort of in the distance with a hood up as well, looking very, what would you say, Power Rangers look to it. Maybe that's injustice to it. It also looks a bit like a Mandalorian as well, with those, the armour.
And a bit of Zori Boss.
Yeah. But what is your thoughts on this, John? Because obviously we were just talking, you know, the previous topic there in regards to Black Widow being released on the home streaming service. So we might be getting to see Taskmaster a lot sooner than we think to home release. We've not had any confirmation on who's actually playing this character, whether or not they're going to. I don't really know too much about how they're going to play it in the film, John. Is it going to be someone that's unmasked? If they're not, then it doesn't really matter, does it? Who's behind that? They can get any stuntman in to do that sort of role anyway, and get a voice actor in, which is an option if obviously this character has any spoken dialogue. But
like the Mandalorian.
Yeah, what's your thoughts, John?
Stephen, I think
Pedro Pascal,
yeah, he was in the suit most of the time, but he was certainly dubbing over. There was whole episodes where he wasn't in the suit.
Yeah,
it was stunt doubles and whatnot, and different people doing filming. Well, he was off doing other things. So there's been previews for that. We could certainly see this character being portrayed wholly by a stunt coordinator, a stunt man.
And at the end of The Mandalorian, last episode, the last scene, the reveal, it's actually Brie Larson that's playing the character.
Thankfully not, Stephen. No, it's definitely Pedro Pascal. And he's definitely lending his voice to it, and I was happy about that. I do like Pedro, he's a great actor. I don't know who's portraying this one, but actually the suit, I've looked closely whilst you were talking there, and I think it's the same suit in both images. I think it is actually the same suit. It's just better lighting in the second image. It's more metallic looking, and the shadows, the way it's hitting with the hood up, it just makes it look more menacing. It looks more skull-like, whereas in the other image, because it's more saturated, there's more light coming in, you're seeing more of a helmet and it doesn't look as intimidating, but I just think it looks very cool. There's something about these sort of characters, these little... I mean, I don't know much about Taskmaster, I can't lie. Before this movie came out, I dived down a rabbit hole after it and discovered he's a guy who sort of likes to take different talents from people. He's got the ability to sort of touch someone or be around them, and he can mimic their skills. We've seen it in the trailers. He can do the whole Captain America shield thing. He's obviously impersonating Clint Barton, aka obviously Hawkeye. He's a guy he's a sort of chameleon, a master of all trades. He can take different talents on. So that's something that intrigues me. It's just I like seeing little characters like this pop in, different ones. We've seen it in Ant-Man, Ghost. I don't think he's going to be the main villain. I really don't think he will be the main villain in this movie. I think Rachel Weisz is playing a sort of big bad who's hovering around in the shadows, almost like Ra's al Ghul, or Talia al Ghul in The Dark Knight Rises.
Yep, that's a perfect...
You think it's Bane's the main villain, and he's front and centre for most of it, but then Talia comes in at the end and reveals she's the person behind it all. I think with Taskmaster front and centre, but then really it'll be this Rachel Weisz character in the background playing it all like a fiddle, and then she'll reveal herself as the true big bad. It'll be cool. It'll give us some neat little action sequences. I'm sure he'll go back and forth with Natasha, but then in the end, I don't think he'll be the big bad. I really don't. But I may be wrong. He may be the big bad.
I think you're barking up the right tree, John.
Of course, in that man it was completely different. Ghost was the sort of big bad, but she was more complicated, and you could get on board with her reasoning later on in the movie. Yeah. And there was other character, I think, what was that guy's name? Walter Goggin, what the hell is he? Yeah, he was playing the businessman, this
he was
sneaky
good.
Little shit.
Yeah.
So they've got previews for this. That's what I'm
just happy to see the images coming out, John. We're getting a sort of fair idea for this character's look anyway. Yes. Obviously, but I don't mind if it's going to be an unknown that's going to be playing him. It's not like it's not been done before. David Prowse, So, I think it looks great. But you're right. I think the second image, the one where you're actually seeing the full sort of costume. It looks very glossy, and it looks very shiny, but it's definitely the same costume. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to seeing this film. I said this before. I wasn't really that interested when they announced this was going to be kicking off Phase 4, but it is what it is, And I do like the character Black Widow anyway. So, and when you get all these actors involved in this film as well, the likes of Rachel Weisz, and I think she is going to be the key to this film as well. I think she's going to be the puppet master. Yeah, Stephen, I can't wait for it. I hope it does come on to Disney Plus, and we don't have to wait like a year to see this movie. Just because I'm excited to see this character getting a fitting conclusion to her arc. Finally, she should have had this movie perhaps 10 years ago, but Scarlett Johansson did say a character, and perhaps her herself, weren't in the right mindset at that point. It wouldn't have had the same emotional impact. The audience wouldn't have been in the right mindset 10 years ago either.
Yeah, they wanted something different, but now we've seen this character journey through her arc. We now get to go back and see what she was getting up to, and perhaps flesh her out a bit more and give us more, I don't know, reasoning to like her. I don't know. I already like Natasha though.
Yeah.
But there's so many characters in there as well, man. The likes of Red Guardian, David Harbour, Florence Pugh's in there. Excited for it, but look, ain't got much more to say about it.
No.
I suppose time will tell whether there's 2 costumes and whether there's a reveal for Taskmaster. Is he the big bad? Lord knows. Maybe you'll know down below. You can tell us in the comment section if you've got anything to say. You can also talk about the Marvel studio closure thing. What do you think that makes for the future of the MCU? Is it going to be knocked out of sync? What's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on the Flash as well? Is it jinxed? Will it ever see the light of day? Will Ezra Miller ever play Barry Allen again? You can comment below and let us know what your thoughts are down below in the comments section. You can also like the video if you've enjoyed it, and you can subscribe to this channel if you're enjoying the content. If you do, then you'll see us again some point, perhaps tomorrow, if we're not dead, for MBE Movie News.